manifestation, clarity. Here's one. Manifestation, clarity. Here is what we're going to cover in this training. An introduction, getting started. We got a quick self-discovery, some questions, inspiring examples, the vision exercise, and that's 3 steps. The common question, what if I don't have manifestation clarity? And a few words about engagements, how to power up your manifestation. Warning, this is the most important video in the entire course. Watch the entire video, don't skip, don't fast forward. And a pro tip, watch the video in 2 times or whatever fits you speed. Introduction, let's dive into it. The foundation of success, manifestation success, is building a solid base. And I want to use a house analogy with you because it takes time. It's invisible in the beginning. And I also want to share about my neighbor. So let's see if I can show you a couple of photos here. I can. Let's see here. See, this is what I mean when I say build a solid foundation. And when I said my neighbor, just the building beside me, and I've seen this a couple of times now, when, maybe you know this too, when they start building a house or a whole building, there's a lot going on in the ground, and it takes months and months and months, and they're digging and graving and doing things, and there's a lot of noise and things, but it seems like nothing is happening. And then after a period, something happens like what you see on the screen here, because the foundation is being built, and it takes time to do this. It takes time to do this correctly. Because if the foundation is strong and solid and built correctly, the house or the building will be strong. If not, it will be not strong. So it's very important that the foundation is solid. Makes sense, right? And it takes time, but also important that it is invisible. So most of the things, when we speak about manifestation, most of the things are invisible. Most of the things are things that we don't have to do outside here. So when we are doing this foundation exercise, when we are creating manifestation clarity, it is happening in the inside. It's happening inside you here in your body, and it's not visible. All right? It's important to understand and just acknowledge this. Now, vision. I'm going to say vision here and now. Vision is very essential. Manifestation starts with clarity. If you don't have clarity, you will likely experience P, and when you have clarity, you will also have P. Vision is essential. So this is what I'm speaking about, and I'm going to share from my own story also here, and some great manifestation stories from other people too. One of my big issues for a long time in my life was that I didn't really have clarity. So as I mentioned before, in the end of the school, the last couple of years in school, I was more like the clown. I made jokes. I wasn't really focused in school. After that, I became like the gangster Michael, the gangster guy doing a lot of not great things. Thanks. But the fact was that I didn't really have any clarity about what it was that I wanted. And because that I didn't have the clarity, I was fumbling around. I was tumbling around. I didn't really achieve anything. Yeah, I became the clown in the class. People laughed sometimes at my jokes. I became the gangster, maybe even the gangster king. But I didn't really have clarity. And what I write here is that if you don't have clarity, what you will likely experience, and maybe you know this, if you know what I'm speaking about here, just let your mind come up with some answers now. If you don't have clarity, what will you likely experience? Because what I experienced and what I know from a lot of people, clients that I've helped, is that what we experience if we don't have the clarity is that life is happening and we don't really know what to do about it. We probably complain about it. We probably are a little negative about it. And all in all, what you and I experience when we don't have clarity is pain. We experience pain. On the other side of this, and this is what happened to me and what I have taken so many people through this exercise, is that when we have clarity, when you have clarity, when you know what it is you want, when you feel what it is you want, when you're clear on what it is that you want, you also have power. You have power. And I know exactly what this means and what this feels like. So I'm going to share that in a moment with you. So one more thing in the introduction here before we're diving in. Remember, all of this is foundation, but I've seen, when I watch on YouTube, I see a lot of people saying, I want to manifest 100,000, I want to manifest 1 million, I want to manifest money. And money is great, but from my experience, just having money in the bank is for what? And I tried not having money in the bank. I don't like that. I tried having a great amount of money in the bank. I do like that. But my question here, one of the questions I was asked in the beginning, and also one of the questions that I keep asking myself is, what do you truly want the money for? What do you truly want the money for? And let's make this an exercise right now. So I'm just going to share a little bit with you. Take some notes here, and maybe even when I finish speaking here, stop the video and take a few more notes. So I'll give you my personal example of this, and I will share this. And I don't want to share it because I want you to take my things in. I just want to share it to get your brain moving, to get your thoughts and ideas showing up inside of you around this. So, personal examples. I mean, my first vision was to have all of these apartment or properties, and I created that. And then the financial crisis came, as I shared. But I created 20 apartments that I rented out. It was a vision for me. And I saw in my vision the people living in the apartments being happy, and that I was doing good for them. And there was a system around it, and it all worked out. That part was great. Now, I had a lot of money in the apartments. And I can tell you, maybe you have tried this too, maybe you have an experience with this, but I can tell you that for me, having 20 times, I don't know how much it was, but maybe like 200,000 in each apartment. Maybe I said another amount because I'm not really sure how much it was at the top, but it was a lot of money. 20 times, a couple of $100,000 US, and I was young, but they were in the apartments. And the money part of it was actually, when I'm looking back, it was not what excited me most. What excited me most was finding the next apartment, getting the loan from the bank, getting these things. negotiating with the broker and finding the new tenant and all of this. That was what excited me most. And there's a big learning in this for me, because I learned later on, this is what I will share with you, that those things that, right now I don't have a watch. Maybe I will have a watch a day, but I haven't had a watch for many years. And I know some people like to have a Rolex or a very great watch, nice watch, expensive watch. And for me, it is not something that, at least it can change, but for now, for the last many years, having a great watch is not something that will improve my life experience. What I learned also when I grew the cleaning company, what I learned when I got more and more into spiritual mentors and learned more about my own being and on a deeper level, I learned that what I enjoyed was having the money to, and again, this is me, I'm not saying anything for you, but I learned having the money to be able to buy some great food and not thinking about it, having the money to be able to take a travel. I enjoy it. I've been so many places around the world, and in South America, in Asia, in the United States, in India. I've been most of the areas in the world, not all, but most. And I love traveling. So that's one thing for me that's purpose in it. I feel the energy when I'm traveling. I'm really like lighting even more up when I'm traveling. And at a point in my life, having great clothes was something that I thought was really cool. But again, later on, especially the last years, for me, again, it's for me, it's not that important anymore for me. What I like is that I have the opportunity to enjoy experiences, traveling, listening to music, having a nice dinner, going out with friends, being able to buy gifts, being able to buy something for myself that I really enjoy, and not having to think about the money. And even when we speak about properties, when I was younger, when I was around my 30s, I wanted a big house, and I lived in a very big apartment close to the center of Copenhagen, and it was expensive and all of that. And yes, it was nice, but for me, it was something that I enjoyed more being on the beach. I enjoyed more. So now I live just beside the beach. I enjoy that even more now. And this is about how it feels for me. This is about how I feel my energy when I do these things. Like I said with the traveling, it lights me up. I love traveling. I love meeting people around the world. I love the sun. The winter here is dark and cold, and for me at least, it's not the best time of the year. I like and love to go out to music, to enjoy time with friends, and don't have to think about money. I love investing. I love the game of investing, and it's most easy to invest if you have money. I have tried without money, and it's very difficult. So I hope this makes a little bit sense, because what I asked here is, what is it that you truly want? Because some people say they want a lot of money, but when I've asked them, what they actually want is that they want to find a loving partner in their life. And there's no right or wrong here. I'm just really, really inviting you to ask yourself the questions. And as I said, when I'm finished here in a moment, you can stop the video and just ask yourself the questions. Maybe even take some water or a cup of coffee or tea or something and sit with it. Reflect on it. What is it that you really want to enjoy in life? All right? The moment magic begins is when you invest the time and energy and define your life. Not define your life. Dream life. And I'm going to share some examples with you in a moment. But the thing is that when you invest the time, step out of the hamster wheel, step out of all the distractions and just be with yourself. If you can do this at home, do it at home. If you have a place in nature, I love the beach, as I said. I also have some trees just on the other side of the road here. I love being there. There's some calmness. I got water, I got trees. I hear the birds when it's getting spring and summer. I love being there. My energy is much better there. And so find a place when we go into these things and where you really feel good. And when you invest the time out of the distractions, time for you, you invest in yourself. Something is calling inside of you for this. Maybe even something bigger, whatever you believe in, God or the universe or the nature. So when you begin defining your dream life, when you take the time to define your dream life, what I've experienced, what clients of mine have experienced, what I've seen people, participants on seminars have experienced this, taking the time to do this and allowing your dream to get more clear, allowing yourself to dream, and no limits on this, allowing the greatness inside of you. Maybe it's a whisper, maybe it's something from the outside calling you, whatever, how you perceive it, it's not that important. But giving yourself the time and allowing yourself. This is magical. And again, I've seen so much magic happen from getting the clarity, getting the power. And this is energy that you're feeling right now. So, getting started. Before we'll dive into the exercises, I have some more quick self-discovery questions here. Very, very powerful questions. And first of all, just to relax, take a couple of deep breaths. We can do that together. Just like take a deep breath in. And when you breathe out, just feel your shoulders come down. And then one more time, breathe in. And breathing out, shoulders coming down. All right? So questions are a great thing. Questions can be very powerful if you ask the right ones. One of my first mentors always said that if you ask yourself stupid questions, you'll get stupid answers. If you ask anybody a stupid question, you'll get stupid answers. If you ask great questions, you'll get great answers. And what I've recognized, what I have seen with the clients I work with and also with my daughter is that, and also she's good at doing this with me, she's soon 15 years old. But when we ask another person a great question, they will have to think, they will have to maybe reflect on, and maybe they will even have to spend some more time. But it changes the way they think, it shifts them. The same thing with yourself, beginning to ask yourself great questions. This is a little out track, I hope this is okay, but if you feel that you are in a negative energy, or if you have some days where everything is not too great, I'm stepping a little outside of the agenda here, but one of the great things that I've seen and experienced is actually just ask myself some great questions. So instead of being negative, ask myself some great questions, and brain will find another path, which will lead into a higher energy, from negativity into positivity, all of this. So questions can be very powerful, and we are going to go through a lot of questions. Now, the right questions. Here are some questions to get us moving into all of this. And you can, if you want to, just pause the video after each, or listen to all the questions and pause the video. But again, I invite you to take the time and go through this exercise. And if it takes 3 minutes, okay, 5 minutes, okay, 10 minutes, okay, 1/2 hour, okay, but maybe not too much, because maybe push yourself a little. First question, what are you good at? That's it. Write down everything that comes to mind. Then, what do you love to do? Everything that comes to mind. Don't hesitate, just write it down. What do others seek your help for? And what makes you happy? And what activities make you lose track of time? I've done this again and again. Again, pause the video if you want to. Just some of my things here. What am I good at? I like speaking, and I do love speaking. And people come to me, even friends, even strangers. I speak with them, and something pops up inside of them, and we have a talk about that. Sometimes even it gets into a little coaching or mentoring, or I help them release something. I help asking them questions and shift their mind. This is something that's just like, it's happening out of nowhere for me all of the time. And it does make me happy. What activities do I lose track of time in? It's actually, I have more things, but I can go through the same thing here, because when I speak with another person and we are engaged in something and I feel like they are growing from it, and after, sometimes I even catched up with an old friend, a younger guy, but a few days ago, and we had a coffee, and we sat and talked, and we got into some of all of this. It's just happening. And suddenly he looked at his watch. I thought we spent 30 minutes, and he said, "Michael, we spent 2 hours." So these kind of activities, there's more for me. Going to the gym, doing videos, and doing coaching sessions, and being at the beach. I lose track of time doing these things. I love it. It makes me happy, being in nature, things like this. For you, what is it? Excuse me. Some inspiring examples. So going into this when I started my online coaching business, I had done live coaching with lots of people before this, but after I started building my cleaning company and I got success with that, I wanted to teach entrepreneurs success with their businesses. One of the first clients was a guy named Tim. He was an entrepreneur. Now this is in Danish, but I'm going to share it with you. He was an entrepreneur, and the first call we had, like a strategy session, he shared to me how even though he had, I think it was 12 years of business owner experiences, he had a sewer company. He was doing, actually, he got a lot of money coming in, but he didn't really earn any money. He was tired. He was ready to give up. That's what it says here. And he had a team he wasn't proud of. He didn't really enjoy his company. We started working, and we started with this vision exercise. And from one session to the next session, Tim changed. The questions, the things he did, changed his mind, changed his emotion, changed his being. We went through an 8-week program, and we continued after that for more, actually I think it was a couple of years. But in those 8 weeks, Tim turned his life around. His business was booming. After the 8 weeks, he had more than $10 million in offers, and they kept coming in. And now he began to make money on the offers. He had team members coming to him from the first time in his life, and he even told me that when they were out on properties and doing their things, that was actually the foundation they were doing, and the owners or the people hired him. They came and told him, "Tim, we never seen a team like yours before. They're walking around smiling and giving high fives to each other, and this is amazing." And I did an interview, I think it was in Danish, with Tim. It's on my old YouTube channel, about his success. We did more than one. But the thing is, what Tim told me, that's what I wanted to share with you here, is that first of all, after the vision exercise that we're going through in a moment, after the vision exercise, he shifted. He became clear on what it was that he wanted. And he was in pain before. He was ready to give up. I was in pain. I was ready to give up. But that session with the vision exercise and then what we did after, but that session shifted everything for Tim. And I remember when we had a session, a couple of sessions after, and I asked him, and Tim was just smiling to me, and I remember the look in his eyes, and he said, I just feel so good, Michael. It feels so good to be me. It feels so good to have my company, and I know where I'm going. Wow! Got lots of these stories. So this is what this exercise can do. And I had a little technical issue here, but I hope we can go through it. Now, these are some also inspiring examples. So I found this from Dwayne Johnson, or The Rock. Most people know him. And I found this quote. In 1995, I had $7 in my pocket and I knew two things. And I know exactly what he's talking about here. I'm broke as hell and one day I won't be. Something inside of Dwayne Johnson, or The Rock, he had a vision that he knew that he would not keep being broke. Then we have Arnold Schwarzenegger here, speaking about vision. When you have a goal, when you have a vision, everything becomes easy. And again, this is about the power. Instead of the pain, it's jumping into power when you have a vision. And The Rock, I think he's one of the most paid actors, and I do know that he's a wrestler. I do know he has a tequila brand, and I'm following him on Instagram. So actually, just an invitation if you want inspiration. And it seems for me when I listen to him, there's a lot from the heart, which I really enjoy. Arnold Schwarzenegger, most people know him, right? He's one of the most famous bodybuilders of all time. He was the governor of California, which is one of the biggest, or if not the biggest, economies in the world, and he also became one of the most famous actors, and you name it. I think he's turning 80 soon, and he's still doing acting and new series and movies and things like that. When I read Arnold's book, and I listened to him too, because it's inspiring for me, and when I listen to that, he's always speaking in his language, with his accent, but he's always speaking about having a vision. Always speaking about having a vision. And also Arnold tells when he was in Austria in his young days, when there was no television, there was no phones, no all of these things. All he could do at night was lying in his bed and working with his vision of becoming the world famous bodybuilder. And then we have, my idea is to give hope. Because where there's no hope, there's no vision. And where there is no vision, people will perish. And I think this is from Oprah. It's not showing here. But again, we have the vision. There's no vision, people will perish. Again, that's the pain. And when we get the vision, it's into the power. And then we have from Steve Jobs here. Most people know Apple. The founder of Apple, or co-founder of Apple. If you are working on something exciting that you really care about, you don't have to be pushed. The vision pulls you. And the vision pulls you. When I speak about these things, in my mind, I see like a magnet. I see like me, from my stories and the clients I've helped, I see them like magnets. When we turn on the power instead of being in the pain by becoming clear of our vision, when we turn on that power, it's like turning on a magnet. And that's where the manifesting part comes in. I'm excited, and I just want to tee all of this up to the vision exercise. So, my own journey, I shared it, so I'm going to do this very quick, but it's just to let you know how much is in this. I was close to bankruptcy in the financial crisis, and I had no confidence. I was shy. I didn't believe I belonged here on the planet, on Earth, and I'm going to share some deeper things about this later on, but that's how I started. My dad was an alcoholic. My mom was working all the time, and I didn't grew up in surroundings that I wish for kids to grow up in. There was so much nervousness and fear and disappointments all of the time. So a young kid like me, that's why I had to defend myself and become a clown, and then going into all the gangster things, and then becoming a career person and all of that. I tried to find my place here on the planet, and it wasn't easy for many years. That's how I started. My cleaning business, as I mentioned, when I got the vision, I scaled to 60 employees or team members, and it helped me clear my $1.5 million debt. I got clear on that. My coaching business, I've been on, and again, remember, I had no confidence, I was shy. I'm not saying this was easy, but I did it. And I've been on stages in front of thousands of people, and all in all, I've been on stages in front of thousands of people. I did my own seminars for years, and I turned it into, I shared that story when I committed to be single dad and taking care of my daughter. I turned all of my seminars and coaching business into a $50K monthly online coaching business. And I was teaching all the way from my learnings. And as I mentioned, and this is, I can't say anything else than this is really from the heart, that I made a commitment to myself. I shared that before, but it was also part of my vision to being the best dad that I could be. I didn't grow up in a safe environment with loving, caring parents. The opposite. And I committed myself to break the chain of what happened in my family story, my dad, my granddad, and things like that. So I committed myself to be a single dad, and with love, support my daughter through her life, to let her grow up and be the best that she can be, and she is really an amazing person. So, but I became clear about that. It was not pain, it was power to do this, because I really knew what it was clear for me from love what I wanted to do, how I wanted all of my learnings and all of the things that was not good in my life. And just take this in as inspiration. Maybe you've been through some bad things too. Maybe you've been through some hard things too. Instead of giving up, I do believe this is going into the manifesting things also, but we can use all of this as energy, as gasoline to find the power, and then we can share that to our loved ones, to our team members, to clients, to customers. Let's just use all of that bad things that we experienced and turn it into some powerful things that can help and motivate and energize and things like that other people. Key takeaway from all of this is that everything starts with a vision. I know this is getting a little bit longer. I really just want you to get the most out of this. So, vision exercise, 3 steps. And I'm gonna see, this video is on YouTube, and it's in our manifestation community, which is a free community. So if you're on YouTube and watching this, I'm going to talk about some documents and also the exercises, and those will be below the video in the free community. So if you want to dive fully into all of this, get the documents, and if you are in the community, you just click them, we'll go through it. If you're on YouTube and you want to dive fully into it, I invite you to become a member of our free community. It costs nothing, so you get all of this plus much more. There will be a link below the video, and you can just look at what it is and how it works, and if it feels like this is something for you, you're welcome. So what we'll do, the 3 steps. There's a life status check. There's a document below the video. We'll go through different areas in your life, and I ask you some questions. and we'll rate them. You can do this by yourself. So we go through health, we go through love, we go through money, we go through business, and we go through spirituality, things like that. And just to help you, so if you're watching on YouTube, what we're going to do is on a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being the best, amazing, and 1 being very, very not good. Go through these different areas and rate yourself. It's not something I invented. I've been through this a lot of times with different mentors, but it's helping with the clarity. So 1 to 10, give yourself and take a few notes. Just take a few notes to begin the process. And one thing more that I will put in this, I didn't put it here. One thing that has helped me many times is doing this reality check, status check of your life. I encourage you, I invite you to also look into and make it feel bad. How bad is this? What does this cost me? How bad is it? What does it cost me to be in this relationship that's not working out? I did that with myself on the 3-day seminar, and that helped me make the decision to break up my marriage because it didn't work. It took the life force out of both of us. And if I hadn't become very clear on what it costed me, I'm not sure I would have made that decision. But I was away and I became clear what it costed me. And also the same thing with business. Well, I knew that I was in a $1.5 million debt. But what it costed me when I went through that, it was also that it did cost me my positivity. It costed me my life energy. I really was in a bad mood. And when I sat with that, and when I got clear on how bad and how the negativity, how negative it affected my life, when I became clear on that, it helped me when we propelled in the next thing here, which is the vision meditation exercise. Again, I'll put it in the document below, but I'll explain it here. And if you don't have clarity, you will likely experience pain. I said that again and again, from my own experience, from all the people that I help. When you have clarity, you will have power. So if you're by yourself, and watching on YouTube, you want to do this exercise and you're not in the community, I invite you to sit down, find some meditation exercise on YouTube, and just really go through it. Get down, get your nervous system relaxed, get calm, maybe be in nature, and just go through. Something amazing can happen here, but let it just open up. Don't think too much. Let it just come to you. And your dream life will begin to become clear. When we do the vision meditation, I will guide you through it. So if you are in the community, and you will have access in the document below to that meditation, I'll guide you through it. And we'll get really low and calm and nice. And I have experienced so many times that something magic can happen. So we go through that, and we hope, we aim, our intention is to get clarity and get power on what it is that you want in your life. Then something very powerful, and this is something I learned a couple of years ago, is actually a 24 integration process after the meditation exercise. So we're going to do different things. I'm going to put that in the document. I'm going to put it in the document below. But these are things like journaling, 24 hours after the meditation. Journaling on the different areas, writing down things from the meditation in the areas, and giving yourself 1 to 10 scores. Again, 10 being amazing, 1 being not good, and aiming for scores in the higher end, maybe 8 to 10. And also take a walk, meditate a little bit more, getting a massage. Really, like you're beginning to opening up to something new. You are beginning to start a process of manifesting a dream life for you, and it's possible. So give yourself this, like when we marinate, we marinate meat and put it down in some oil and some salt and pepper and different tastes and all of that to really get it juicy and it's going to taste amazing. The same thing here, marinate process, 24 hours of just integrating whatever is happening here. It's so powerful. So I invite you to do that. And then be with your vision. Here comes the marinate thing. Feel the difference. As the more that this vision becomes clear, the more that we feel it, the more you feel it, the more you get excited about it. Already here it's shifting in your mind, it's shifting your energy, it's shifting your emotions, and all of that will help you in manifesting what you want. And from thousands of people in seminars and coachings and all of this, I've seen it again and again and again. When people feel the difference, it's kind of like they open a portal to manifesting. It's to something magical that just happened. So I invite you to really enjoy this process. All right, common question. What if I don't see a vision? What if I don't get clarity? I was just thinking, this has happened for me, I'm going to share, and I've heard, not people I work one-on-one with because I could really ask them questions, but people on seminars, I've heard them say that they didn't really get clear on what they wanted, or they didn't really feel that vision. So, first of all, what I learned from myself and what I've seen again and again is that it's so easy to beat ourselves up. It's so easy to say, Michael, you cannot figure anything out. Or John, you don't know. Or Susan, you don't know. And I knew that would happen again and again. Why don't you? Nothing works out for you. See, what we want here is actually to acknowledge and accept. So just be kind and loving to yourself instead. Just being here, learning, you're listening and learning now, you're growing. It means you're doing something and you are on the right path. So instead of putting yourself down, I used to do that so much, and I know why, because that's how I grew up, all the time being put down. Instead of doing that, give yourself a pat on the shoulder, on the back, and give yourself some patience, saying, it's okay, buddy. It's okay, my friend. It's okay, my love. It's okay, my darling, whatever you want to call yourself. Because this acknowledgement and this accept, when we, I'm going to share more about this when we go into the modules and speaking about love and manifestation. But the more that we love ourselves, the more that we feel the great energies, the more we open up to something greater. And sometimes it can happen in a moment, it can happen in one meditation, and sometimes we have to do it 1 or 2 times and maybe a little bit more. But again, even though it's going to take maybe 1 month before you really feel like there it was, 1 month instead of being in the pain and the hamster wheel of what happened so many years in your life, if you're like me. So give yourself a hug and a little patience. It's an invitation. My personal business experience was that I went on the seminar, $1.5 million US debt. I did some form of vision exercises. I got clarity. I knew what I wanted. Boom! I found a coach, and I was just like on the highway, like that. And I created the company. I created the coaching company. Got divorced. My energy soared. So that was my business example. My other example here, because I had my personal breakdown. So after the narcissistic relationship, maybe you remember that, 5.5 years with manipulation and lies, and after that I was devastated. I was ready to give up. I was ready. I called the suicidal line. That was the first. After a couple of weeks I called. I had no clue what was going on in my mind. If you haven't been through this, it's very difficult to understand how devastating and killing of life and joy this is. But if you've been through it, you know what I'm speaking about. Being a man or woman doesn't matter. What I wanted to share here is, after that experience, I was drained. I had no clue what I wanted. Everything was foggy. I couldn't see anything at all. So what I did was I focused on my own healing. I'm going to share some of the techniques in a later video, but I focused on my own healing. I focused on being with the traumas, letting them go. I focused on all the trapped energy, of all the bad emotions, of all the childhood stuff that came up through exercises, through be with myself and loving myself. That was my first thing. For most people, this is not something that maybe is the right thing right now. I'm just sharing. And what I also did was I did a lot of walking, just taking the steps, and I did a lot of meditation and meditating, and I did ask the universe. All the time I asked the universe, what is my next step? What is it that you want me to do? How can I serve? How can I find myself? How can I love myself? How can I be happy again? Things like that. I kept asking the universe. And slowly, the vision revealed itself. Now remember, I came from a very, very, very low place, ready to give up being here. But after the healing, after doing healing for some time, I began walking, and slowly it became clearer. And I did vision exercises, meditations, got a little bit more clear. Worked with that, gave it some time, began walking, trying things, figuring out, and then more vision exercises. So for most people, it will happen very quickly, maybe one meditation and you're clear. I'm just sharing this because if it doesn't happen, love yourself, have patience with yourself, be kind to yourself, and just expect the best out of this and keep walking, all right? So, an invitation here. If you want something better, if you want something better in your life, if you want to manifest love, if you want to manifest better health, if you want to manifest more money, your business growing, finding your purpose, whatever it is, if you want something more, you are already aligned. Something is calling for you. So that's my belief. That's how I lived, and that's how I helped other people. Something is calling for you. All right? Oops, that was the wrong way. Let's move on. Here we go. So, engage equals power up your manifestation. So, first of all, share. Feel free to share your dream life, your vision with the community. This is an invitation. If you watch this on YouTube, if you do the exercises, feel free to comment in the comments. If you are in the free manifestation community, I will make sure, and there will be a link below the video, that we do a post for members to go in and share their dream life or vision. Some people don't feel like doing it. Some people feel like doing it. And I'm not saying if you should or should not, but I'm just saying what happened to me was then when I began sharing with like-minded people, very important, because if I shared it with my family members who didn't really understand that I was trying to do something new, it could take me down or drag me down. So I'm talking about here sharing it with like-minded people who are on the same journey, who want to manifest better lives. It's an invitation. There's a link below the video, and you can share and feel the excitement, the inspiration, the joy, the happiness, the love when you share this invitation. And also support, an invitation for you to support. So in the community, at least 3 members. Support at least 3 others in the community. Comment on at least 3 other people's vision in the community. I'll put a link to the post below. Support means celebrate, lots of love, high energy, positivity, flow, best of energy. Not to expect people to come back with that, but just being in an energy of that when you give this out, something great will come back to you. Just feel the joy of celebrating other people. So, and there's nothing, just imagine how, if you do number one and you put in the community your own vision, just imagine you have a lot of people cheering on you. Normally in our lives, that's not what happens. And I really invite you to do this so we can just make this a community of dreams, of people who want to manifest better things in their life and really feel that energy. So that's an invitation. Summary. Here's what we covered. Introduction, getting started, quick self-discovery questions. You should have done those now. Inspiring examples from clients, from myself, and also, inspiring examples from some of the most successful people in this world. The vision exercise is the 3 steps that we are going through. The common question, what if I don't have manifestation clarity, and what to think about that. And engagement to power up your manifestation. So we went through all of this. I know this has been like quite some minutes here, and I just want you to celebrate yourself for going through this. I trust that something good has shown up, that you're a little bit excited or maybe very excited to go through the exercises. There will be a document below the video if you're in the community. And really just like being excited. Maybe let yourself see if you can be excited as a little kid, because I remember from my daughter when she was a kid, she was in fantasy land all the time. She imagined going speaking with people. She imagined when she was playing with her dolls, and I loved it. I was so inspired by that. So just maybe if you are up in the age like I am, if you got some years in the book, maybe see if you can just allow yourself to play with this, be as a kid again. And now it's time to do the exercises. Again, document below this video in the community. Let's get to work.